The emergency beacon pierced through the dense canopy of Kepler 442b's jungle like a digital scream. Cadet Zoe Martinez adjusted her scanner, watching the crimson blip pulse steadily 3 kilometers northeast of their crashed shuttle. Beside her, Cadet David Chen grimaced as he tested his weight on his injured leg. "It's definitely broken," he muttered, leaning heavily against a massive tree trunk whose bark shimmered with bioluminescent patterns. "I won't make it to the beacon, Zoe. You should go without me." Zoe shook her head firmly. "We stick together. That's what humans do." She helped him settle more comfortably against the tree, then activated her portable shelter generator. A translucent energy dome formed around them, providing protection from the planet's unpredictable weather patterns. The beacon belonged to their classmates from the Galactic Military Academy, a mixed group of species on their final survival training exercise. When the ion storm had separated their shuttles, Zoe and David had crash-landed in this sector while the others had gone down somewhere in the deeper jungle. According to the scanner, 5 life signs were clustered around that beacon, but they weren't moving much. "Their signatures are weak," Zoe observed, frowning at the readings. "Thalarin, Kavex, Nyx, Yara, and Jorik, they might be injured or—" She didn't finish the thought. David tried to stand again, but collapsed with a sharp intake of breath. "Zoe, you have to go to them. I'll stay here and monitor communications." She studied the jungle around them. The other species in their class were formidable in their own ways. Thalarin's crystalline physiology made him nearly indestructible. Kavex could survive in almost any atmosphere, and the others had their own evolutionary advantages, but none of them had grown up learning to hunt and survive in wilderness conditions like humans did. "Their species don't have the same relationship with nature that we do," Zoe said, more to herself than to David. "They're all from high-tech civilizations. They probably don't know how to find food or water in a place like this." The realization hit her like a physical blow. While humans had evolved as persistence hunters and gatherers, developing an intimate knowledge of ecosystems and survival, most other galactic species had transcended such needs millennia ago. They relied entirely on technology for sustenance. "I'm going," she decided. "I'll get them and bring them back here." David handed her his emergency pack. "Take everything. And Zoe, be careful. The Academy instructor said this planet has some dangerous predators." Zoe secured her gear and checked her sidearm. "Dangerous to them, maybe, but I'm human." She set off through the jungle, moving with a fluid efficiency that would have impressed her instructors. Where other species might hack through undergrowth or rely on technology to clear paths, Zoe read the jungle like an open book. She identified game trails, noted which plants were edible, and tracked the subtle signs that indicated water sources. An hour into her trek, she encountered her first Kepler predator, a creature resembling a 6-legged panther with scales instead of fur. It stalked her from the shadows, probably drawn by her unfamiliar scent. Zoe didn't panic. Instead, she made herself appear larger, made direct eye contact, and produced a series of low, threatening sounds. The predator hesitated, confused by prey that acted like an apex predator itself, and eventually slunk away. When Zoe finally reached the beacon's location, she found her classmates in a desperate state. They huddled together in a small clearing, their advanced equipment providing shelter but no sustenance. Thalarin's usually brilliant crystalline form had dimmed to a dull gray. Kavex's breathing apparatus wheezed with each labored breath. The others were barely conscious. "Zoe!" Nyx, a petite, blue-skinned Andromedan, struggled to her feet. "How did you find us? We thought we were going to die here." "Your beacon," Zoe said simply, immediately assessing their condition. "How long since you've had food or water?" 3 days, Jorik croaked. The large, turtle-like Chronarian had retracted partially into his shell. "Our food synthesizers were damaged in the crash. We found some fruits, but they made us sick." Zoe nodded grimly. Most alien species couldn't process natural foods without technological assistance. Their bodies had adapted to perfectly balanced synthetic nutrition, making them vulnerable in environments where such technology failed. "I'm going to take care of this," she announced. "Stay here and rest." What happened next would become legend in the Academy archives. Over the next several hours, Zoe transformed from student to provider. She identified 17 different edible plants in the immediate area, testing each one herself before offering them to her friends. She constructed snares from salvaged wire and caught 3 rabbit-like creatures, using techniques passed down through generations of human hunters. She tracked and killed a deer analog that provided enough meat for days. But Zoe's greatest achievement was creating a filtration system from jungle materials and broken equipment parts, providing clean water for species whose systems couldn't tolerate the local microorganisms. As evening fell, the clearing filled with the aroma of cooking meat and the sound of grateful alien voices. Thalrin's form began to glow again as nutrition restored his energy. Kevex's breathing steadied. The others regained their strength with each carefully prepared meal. "I don't understand," Yara said, her feline features showing wonder. "How did you know all of this? How did you survive alone in this place and then save us all?" Zoe looked around at her friends, beings from worlds where nature had been conquered, where survival skills were obsolete, where the connection between creature and environment had been severed by technology. Then she thought of David, waiting patiently back at their shelter, and of Earth, where humans still told stories around fires and remembered what it meant to live as part of the natural world. "It's what humans do," she said quietly. "We adapt, we survive, and we take care of our own." The rescue ships found them 2 days later, but by then the story had already spread through their communicators to the academy. Cadet Zoe Martinez, the human girl who had hunted alone and fed them all, became a symbol of something the galaxy was just beginning to understand: that humanity's greatest strength wasn't their technology or their weapons, but their fundamental connection to life itself. In a universe of advanced civilizations, sometimes the most primitive skills proved the most valuable, and sometimes being human was exactly what the galaxy needed.